The day before Easter, which is why I'm wearing this shirt, and I'm going to do the first annual AI depiction of the Easter story. AI images can be a little creepy. Don't say I didn't warn you. Alright, here's the story. Once upon a time, about 2,000 years ago, when they had flat screen TV, Jewish officials met at the house of Caiaphas so they could make plans to capture and kill Jesus. Look, I warned you that AI generated images are creepy. This is not my fault. Anyway, they wanted to kill him because he was popular with the people and kept telling them he was the king of the Jews, which they considered very blasphemous. Judas independently got the idea to approach the Jewish officials and offer to betray Jesus. Here he is approaching the house where the Jewish officials are meeting. Judas asks what they would pay him to betray Jesus so that they could make an arrest. They offer him 30 pieces of silver, and Judas graciously accepts. Look, that was a lot of money back then, okay? Jesus and his disciples, including Judas, prepared to have Passover together. Jesus broke the bread, blessed it, and told them it was his body, and then he poured wine and told them it was his blood, because that's not creepy at all. Jesus really wanted to spend his last night with his friends praying, but they kept falling asleep, which was very disappointing. The only friend that was still awake was his frenemy Judas, who approached Jesus and gave him a kiss. This was his secret signal to the authorities, identifying Jesus as their suspect. I'd like to point out that as hard as I tried to write this prompt so that Judas and Jesus could be gay, Runway just would not generate it for me. And I am not made of Runway video credits, so this is just what we're gonna have to work with. Jesus was taken in front of the high priest, who asked the people what they wanted to do about him, and they all shouted, "Kill him!" In order to kill him, they had to get permission from the Romans, who were controlling the region at that time, so they went to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor, to ask permission. Look, the governor just didn't think Jesus had done anything wrong. All he did was say he was king of the Jews. The Romans didn't care about that. So Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor, decided, okay, I'll just send this dude to King Herod. He's the king of the Jews. We'll let him decide what to do with this dude. When Jesus arrived at the house of Herod, king of the Jews, Herod and his bros made fun of him and had him beaten by the soldiers before sending him back to the Roman governor, who again did not know what to do with him. So the governor asked the people what to do with Jesus, and they again shouted, "Crucify him." So Jesus was flogged again and handed over to be crucified. They put a crown of thorns on his head and made him carry his cross to the place called Golgotha. It's the most metal place name in the Bible, so it makes sense that this is where they would do the crucifixions. Jesus was crucified with 2 other people. Hey, he didn't have to die alone. That's pretty nice of them. Anyway, Jesus slowly died hanging on that cross, and the Jews didn't want the bodies on crosses stinking up the place and attracting flies, so they took the corpses down and Jesus was buried in a tomb. But on Sunday morning, Mary Magdalene and some other women found the tomb empty. An angel came and told them that he had risen from the dead, and they believed him. Anyway, so that's the story of Easter.